Welcome everybody to Dallas Personal Robotics Group Robot Builders Night Virtual for Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. Tonight we will do our normal roundtable presentation of projects and then open up the floor for any questions or comments. A little bit of housekeeping. Robo Columbus is coming up fast. Less than about 4 months left to get your robot going. Start building or start testing. Make sure you're ready to go. So up first, we have Mike that's going to give us an update on his outdoor robot.
Well, first of all, I got my travel guides for Spain for next month.
Ooh.
It's always good. Yeah. That was on my list. I'm checking things off my list. And so I have the, let's see, where is that? Okay, so I'm using Foxglove to show my data. And so this is the robot, my robot, and there's a cone about right here. And you can see it here. I realized that my LiDAR is too tall. I mean, the top of my Jeep is too tall, and it barely touches barely detects the cone, which is a relatively short cone. So let me see. Where's the show and tell here?
I thought for outdoor contests we used it, didn't we? Or no? I thought for the outdoor contest we used a pretty tall cone, didn't we?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this cone is. Yes, this is the
Looks
cone.
short. Oh, there it is. Okay.
So it's close to the robot, and the cone is.
Okay. That is pretty tall.
That is 18 inches, and my LiDAR is that about 16 or 17 inches.
Oh, wow.
So it barely sees the top of the cone in good times. So if I go to so you notice here that this is the so it's detecting that the red line there is the LiDAR data for the cone. So it's detecting it there. But when I move the cone out to 2 meters or so,
does it disappear?
it doesn't detect, doesn't have a cone.
Wow.
What's it detecting? But if I move my robot, move my Jeep down a little because it has a lot of suspension. Okay. Yeah.
Mike, put a couple of books under it just to make it a little taller.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what does it look like
So,
when you have a couple of books?
So this is it when I push the front of the Jeep down, the suspension. So this is the cone when it's detected, but that's only when I pushed, like out the suspension of the Jeep is, a lot of suspension. And so when I pushed it down, now it detects the cone. So I'm thinking, well, compared to last year's assembly, I didn't have a Jeep body, and I think the LiDAR is a little taller, and And I think what I'm going to need to do is put it at an angle to point downward towards the front, so that it can see cones a little better in the front.
Okay, is it
Is
impractical
it possible
to lower
that your
the,
LiDAR is? Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Pardon?
I think Pat and I were about to say the same thing. Why can't you drop the LiDAR?
It's on the
Yeah, is
base
the
of
LiDAR sitting level?
It's at the top of the Jeep.
Oh yeah.
But could you
Yes,
put it on
but
the hood?
is it level?
Huh?
Put it on the hood?
Yeah. So it's at the top of the Jeep, and it's flush to the roof. And maybe it
Do
has
you,
a really
do you have an
very
engineering
slight-
level?
Huh? Pardon?
Do you have an engineering level to see if it's sitting level?
I mean, the Jeep body itself just goes up and down. So what's level? I don't know. But and then I noticed that the cone. So if I look at my so when I get the cone, when I'm approaching the cone, I really can't see when I get sort of that. I can't detect it when it's that close. Like,
Oh really?
can you guys?
So there's
I mean,
a dead zone out in front of the LiDAR, or
It's well, I'm talking. This is the camera detection. So the camera is what detects the cone at a distance, and in my code, I was using it. I was aborting when I couldn't detect the cone anymore when I was approaching it. So one of my major things I did is distances from all the sensors to the cone to try to keep them within a centimeter or so. What was I going to say? Oh, well, I had to say, well, in the state where it's approaching the cone, do not abort when the cone's not detected by the camera, because that was driving me nuts. I mean, if you remember at the meeting last month, the in-person meeting, it was in a loop just saying cone detected, cone not detected when it was trying to approach the cone. And so I found a piece of code that does that. So there's a lot of like, and also I think it's one of the things is my other design, the front of the Jeep there. Maybe I can raise the camera up a little bit, but in the front of the Jeep is blocking off some of the range of the cone, which wasn't a problem when I didn't have the whole engine compartment on my Jeep, because the camera could look down, because it had so
downward
so the arrangements of the sensors this year is different than last year, and so I'm having to change the code and what the sensors do just because of their limitations.
All right.
So-
So basically you're saying that the vertical field of view is restricted by the hood. And you're also saying that since your camera looks out the window, that's why you can't put the LiDAR on the rooftop. I mean, excuse me, on the hood.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, so my big thing this year is I was putting everything in the cabin, and then the sensors moved a little bit and things changed. So I got new challenges.
Yeah. Can you, I'm not saying doing this, but I'm saying if you cut a hole in the roof, okay, let's say you cut a hole in the roof so that the LiDAR could go down a little bit, could that happen, or would that just be more mess?
probably not going to get that much with it.
It would
right?
change. It would add an inch or something. But yeah, not
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
Could you move the camera into the grill and put the LiDAR on the hood?
My grill is where my
There you
time
go.
of flight sensors are. It's hard to see it here, but they're mounted right here, which is actually something. And I bolted it onto the grill, and I realized that the grill has a angle to it. So if I go to the if I go here and I zoom in on here, yeah, you'll notice that the this is the time of flight sensor, and it's angled up a little bit to be because that's what it took for the sensor to be accurate, and so when I put it on the grill, it has a little angle to it. So I compensated for that by going to the URDF file and changing the angle of the sensor to point up a little bit, and then everything matched properly. I mean, it got calibrated and it was putting out the right depth of data and location data. So there was a lot of things that had to be changed just because I wanted to put this stuff in the side of the Jeep. I mean,
What are all those dots from before when we were looking down on it and there was like an arc of dots just a little bit out in front of the
Those are 8x8 arrays.
Yeah,
that's the there's an 8x8. It's a 3 8x8 array, so it has a 120-degree, and these dots here is the ground reflection.
Okay,
from the floor.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So the camera that you're using, is it just doing blob detection, or did you create a model?
No, it's doing cone detection with a
okay.
LLM. Yeah.
When you did your training, your LLM training, did you do any close-ups of the cone, like just a partial cone?
No, I'm using an off-the-shelf cone detector called Cone Slayer. So I cheaped out, and I don't mean cheaped out, but I didn't have to do anything except load it up and run it.
Hey, why reinvent that wheel?
Huh?
Why reinvent the wheel?
Right.
Hell,
Yeah.
you can buy a package. I mean,
partial cones like that. It's like, I'm gonna make it work, because when I get close to it, like I use a camera to see far away and approach the cone, and then once I get close to it, then I switch over to the LiDAR and the time of flight sensors to pull in, because they're very stable, and the cone detection becomes unstable when it gets close. Even last year it was a little unstable. It wasn't quite reliable enough. And the time of flight sensors are really accurate, and the LiDAR is really accurate. So I have code in there that detects the shape of the cone. So it says, so there's a cone detected. This is. Oh, and also last week I was reporting that my IMU was acting up, my Bino 85, and then I theorized that a couple of days later that it must be loose inside the cabin, and sure enough, when I took it apart, it was loose. I mean, it was dangling off a cable. So
that'll do it.
So that's been fixed. And this is my IMU data here. It's the Quaternion, and it works really good. And this here is all of my distance data. Like I got like the cone location with the camera, and so I'm given the X distance using the camera, and then I have the cone detected with the LiDAR, and the distance for mid is 0.6 meters. And because the LiDAR is further back than the camera, and the time of flight sensor is the closest one. And then the other ones are the time of flight data. So it's saying that the object doesn't notice it's a cone, but it says there's an object right there that's 0.6 0.15 meters away. So you can sort of see that the three sensors have different points, and it's telling the different measurements. Like this is the front. The name of the topic is time of flight, TOF, front, center, FC, mid, which is the middle string of array of the middle. Like when you go from top to bottom, this is the middle line, and then 0 through 7 is the individual distance points. And so you can see my cone's right there, and the middle one is 0.15, and the ones on the edge are 0.16, 0.17, which is seeing the curvature of the cone. Okay, so that's my these are the stuff I can plot out in Foxglove that you can't do easily, or I don't think you can even do it in RViz. So I like Foxglove a lot. So is there anything that anyone's interested in terms of just the sensors and stuff before I do a demo?
Let's see it go.
Did you, the Foxglove, are you paying for that subscription?
No.
Okay. I was wondering because I see it up for, you can subscribe and use it, but I didn't know they had
I'm not
free
sure what
version.
you get, but maybe you get storage or something. I'm not sure, and collaboration and that kind of stuff. But no, it's whatever I have is free. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see a demo. Let's issue a star tonight.
Okay, so I'll move the cone about 2.5 meters away, and if you can hear the voice, it's going to tell me where I put it. Yeah, 2.6 meters away. Okay. And so now it can detect the cone really nice. And then
What's that black line across your video?
I have no idea. It doesn't show up in RViz and doesn't show up on the tools for the camera. It's just something with Foxglove. I don't know what it is.
That's odd.
It's not in the camera data. Don't know.
Because it looks like it's poking through into the cam graph.
I don't know what it is. Okay, so now I have my remote, and this is my start button here.
Navigator is starting. So then to navigate to the waypoint location again. Not time of FA equals 5. So then to navigate to the waypoint location again. So the waypoint location of X equals 0, Y equals 2. Not time of FA equals 6. So then to navigate to the waypoint location again. So then to navigate to the waypoint location again.
Here's the demo.
FA equals 6. So then
Demo mode is it.
Let me restart everything. Okay. Let me start Ross up again.
I think that was essentially saying, Dave, I can't do that. Please open the door.
That's what happened last year.
Dave, I can't do that.
Yeah. So now it's all coming up. Each Ross node.
After 11.9, RC29 navigation node started. Enough time of FA equals 0. Enough time of FA equals 2. Rest of them just start navigation.
Okay. Is everybody there?
Yep.
Okay. So ask me to press the button, so I'm going to press the button.
So we can't see the robot or the cone in your camera image, Mike. I'm not sure if we're meant to.
I can see it.
Need to swing it around to the right a bit.
I can see
I
it.
can see his robot.
We can.
Yeah, we can see
Yeah.
the car.
Oh,
So
The
cone-
robot's in his personal image.
Yeah.
Oh.
To the bottom right.
Okay, there we
You can
go.
just see the hairy edge of both of them right now.
You can't see that. Oh.
Well, mine's a
The truck-
wide display.
The Jeep on the right and the cone on the left.
Yeah,
okay.
like it's not a 4 to
All right.
3. It's like 6 to 9, or it's a wide screen. Okay, so but you can look at the Foxglove.
Yeah.
And you'll see it drive by if you have a narrow screen view. So let me try it, see what happens.
Navigator is parking. Command time of safety will 3. Command time of safety will 4. Command time of safety will 5. Navigate to waypoint locator is successful. Go from the zone. Go through to the zone. Go to the zone.
Is it trailing a power supply there?
I hit the kill switch. Something weird happened, but yeah.
Nice.
I believe that's a gold star. You hit the cone.
Yeah, yeah. Gold star,
Good
yay.
job.
Yeah, so I got a lot of work to do. At least it's alive.
Nice.
4 months, huh?
Yep.
I got 2 weeks in Spain, so I'm 3.5 months. Okay.
As you say, Mike, you shouldn't announce your travel plans before you go on the trip.
Huh?
You can do it afterwards, let's say, but before.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Well, good job. Gold star.
All right.
Cool. Good number.
Any questions for Mike?
Mike, what are you thinking? How do you think you're going to solve your LiDAR problem? You're saying it's a little too high, can't go down any lower. I'm just curious of what are you going to modify the body, make it a lowrider or something, or what are you going to do?
I think I'm going to make a wedge, a small wedge, and angle it 5 degrees or so
Okay.
downwards, so it sees stuff in the front.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have to see stuff far away. Just when it's a meter or so away is when it starts taking over. Like the camera gets it up to about a meter or half a meter,
Okay.
and then everything else is used. Then the LiDAR and everything is used to pull it in, but the LiDAR is also used for obstacle detection. So I can put a small angle to it by putting a wedge under it.
Okay. Sounds like a good solution.
That's my plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do much else, right? I mean, either tilt it down or try to lower it. So
Deflate the tires. Yeah.
there you go. Make it a
how-
lowrider instead of a lifted Jeep,
Yeah. I could adjust the shocks to reduce it a couple inches or something, but I guess it's good for. You see, it has a lot of suspension. I'm not going to mess with the suspension.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Mhm.
Up next, we have Paul. Paul's going to describe process of connecting it's a BNO 85, Paul, to his robot.
So it's what Mike's got, but what are you going? Do you have it hooked up to a Pico, Mike?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I hooked mine up to an ESP32, and it's known that there are problems with hooking the BNO 85 up to the Pico because of something to do with its via I²C. And I actually wanted to and have pushed the fix up to the upstream Lino robot to firmware repo after I got it working. But so there were a few things, a few learnings along the way. I started out with it in 9-axis DOF, 9-DOF mode, and every time I bring it close to the robot, to the mower, it would go to 0 accuracy. It prints out with like 3 for when it's very accurate and 0 for when it's not accurate at all. And mindful of Kareem's guidance that magnetometers are evil, and in consultation with an AI, I took it back into 6-DOF mode, which is like a setting. And I have to say that I still haven't read the so it uses the SparkFun library running on the ESP82 on the ESP32 under MicroROS, and so I lost my thought. So anyway, yeah. So I had it mounted on the back. So after I put it into 6-DOF mode, I still had a problem because I wanted to mount it to the plate, to the backpack, which hangs vertically off the back of the mower, and so that means X is pointing upwards and Z is pointing behind the mower, and you really want it like that way. And so I discovered there's a thing in the BNO 85. Well, really maybe it's in the BNO 85, maybe it's in the library, I'm not sure, but they call it Tara mode, like TARE, like Tara weight is the net weight of something minus its container. Well, it's that concept that you can put it in an orientation and then tell it to and it's reading out the pitch and roll and yaw, but from its vertical perspective, and then you tell it to go into Tara mode and it swizzles the reading, so it changes it to the readings it would be as if the device was flat, no roll, no pitch, and yaw is 0.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of interesting discovery to find out that, like, the BNO 85 can subtract out the initial the mounting orientation.
It's just, well, we got the 3 axes, and so it's sort of just swapping the axes. It's not canceling out.
Right.
It's just using different axes for the different directions.
Well, I think it's doing it a little smarter than that, because it can subtract out like an 80-degree pitch. So that's not a pure axis swap.
That's true. It can transform. Yeah.
So after I got that Tara problem fixed, and I started running into the ESP32 incompatibility issue, where it would take like a minute and a half before it started issuing real readings, and up until that time, I'd see nans coming out, not a number coming out on the IMU reading, And so consulting with the AI, I found out about this ESP32 incompatibility thing, and basically it wrote me some code that that waits a while, checks it to see if it's getting a valid heading. If it's not, hits it with a soft reset, comes around again, waits a while, and then as a final check, waits till it's had 10 successive good readings, and then says, okay, it's working. And that seems to be working. So I found its yaw reading to be extraordinarily stable. So I was coming from a MPU 6050 that always had a bit of slow rotation on it, and I never attempted to figure out how to fix the gyro offset on the MPU 6050, but I didn't do anything to the B&O 085. It's just sitting there in its native. They call it game mode, and I'm not quite sure what the difference is between game mode and UVC mode. So, Ray, you talked about UVC mode last week.
RVC.
Sorry, RVC. Yeah, robot vacuum cleaner.
Robot vacuum cleaner.
Mode. Yeah. Game mode doesn't have any absolute headings. It's all differential. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that UVC mode, RVC mode does?
As absolute? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so it uses the magnetometer?
Right. Yeah, you can. Well, I think it's set up in RVC mode to use all 9. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So I figure it shouldn't be an issue, because the at least according to Gemini, it puts a fairly low fairly large variance in the covariance matrix for yaw, and so after a while the Kalman filter that's fusing it with GPS, with RTK GPS and odometry, will sort of like start to ignore the heading it's got and only look at the differences in yaw, is the way I understand it. So have yet to figure that out, but I left it for hours, sitting on, reading out 10 degrees, and it was still reading out 10 degrees when I came back. So I was like pretty impressed with it in 6-off mode.
I've had the same experience. It's pretty stable. When you start moving it, it'll jump a little bit, but it doesn't keep rotating. But it might switch a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, so I don't actually have any motion experience with it yet, because I just got it mounted on both the Moberry and Minibot, and just trying to get those things rolling again, and they're
cashed out. Yeah,
they're not rolling. But anyway, that was my experience with the B&O 85. Was basically came down to discovering this Tara mode in 6-off. And I guess it probably, Tara mode in 6-off, and then the ESP32 incompatible I2C incompatibility, and finding it to be stable.
Right.
Didn't Kareem recommend using, getting a heading off of GPS versus like a B&O 85 or?
Yeah.
Kareem, are you still on?
Yeah, but you don't get a heading until you start moving. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you have to move a little bit to get a heading. But do you still recommend that, Kareem, or do you think
it is still what I'm dealing?
Like the compass can point you in the basic direction, and then you want to switch over to GPS once you get moving. Yeah.
My robot knows when it's been calibrated by GPS run or not, and so it won't make false decisions believing it knows what the heading is.
Okay. I'm kind of curious. Have you ever had, like in BNO 085 on and, looking at yaw in comparison to what GPS is indicating? Is it, does it shows the flaws in the BNO, or do they eventually or sometimes converge onto the same heading? Or
Are you asking me?
yeah.
I'm not sure I got the whole comment, but so
Okay.
the process is that while I'm calibrating via GPS, it's aware of the level of fix, the level of accuracy that I've got while it's doing that, and then computing the heading between the starting position and the ending position. So it's really an average, but I'm always driving straight at that point. Although sometimes to test it, I've driven on a sideways slope, which will force it to drift away a little bit, and just to see how resilient it is. However, usually once I get that fix, and if nothing is interfering with the RTK, excuse me, then it usually maintains fairly well, because I'm running a continuous EKF from that point forward. So it's continuously fusing the different sensors, and it keeps them converged.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm using the Adafruit library, and I'm using the serial port for the BNO 85.
Yeah.
I'll show you I'll show it to you. Let me hold on a second. The code.
I use the serial port. I've still got a BNO 055, and it's working fine. So, but yeah, I use it in serial mode.
Yeah. RVC mode is by definition serial. So.
So on this processor, on this micro, I control the BNO 85 and the GNS, the GPS receiver, and the GPS module I got actually had a compass on it too, but I didn't find it working that good. So this is my library I use, and then when I initialize so I'm initializing it with the serial port instead of the I2C or anything. So, so if the I2C is giving you problems and you got a serial port, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I was sort of torn because from a couple of directions. I wanted to work on Minibot, which uses the WaveShare robot. What's it? Board for robots. There's a WaveShare board that's got motor controllers and I2C and everything on it, but it has almost no pins left to use for the UART. And also wanted to try and make it generic enough that others who use the Lena robot to LiDAR repos could get it working fairly easily. So I was keen to make it work on I2C if that was possible.
Yeah. So I'm using well on my setup. I'm taking advantage of the Pico, and I have separate micros for each subsystem.
Right.
And so I use one serial port for the GPS and one for the IMU and the the compassing was using the I2C port. And also I use one core for the IMU and one core for the GPS to try to keep them separate so they wouldn't, so they could run at full speed without interfering with each other. So that's sort of my code setup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Taking advantage of my architecture.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Yeah.
I guess I did have one other thing to report that was sort of eye-opening. I told you guys that I'd developed a driver and documentation for it for the LC29H GPS RTK GPS receiver, and I've been kind of toying with the idea of maybe offering it up, asking on the Ross discourse if there's anyone interested in being a tester for it. So sort of like making it more offering it up more widely, making it available to the community, making it known in the community maybe. So I thought I'd sort of dip my toes in the water and ask on the Ross Reddit forum if anyone knew of anything comparable, because I mean, I hadn't been able to find another driver that would work with the specific way that this one works, where you pull NEMA out of a port, a serial port, and you stick corrections into the same serial port. Hadn't found any Ross drivers that did that. Anyway, put my post up on Reddit, and lo and behold, within a day, it had 1,400 views.
Whoa.
I was like, whoa, really?
Any good feedback?
No, just one guy saying, will it work with the LC29H EA, which will apparently do 10 hertz. The DA that I've got only does 1 hertz, but that was no feedback, but 1,400 reads. I was like, whoa.
That's good.
Guess everybody's looking for a cheap GPS setup or GNSS.
Yeah, but no one was willing to pitch in and say whether they'd run across anything else, and I don't know what that means, but that's what it is.
You're a
Probably
trailblazer.
means there are no others yet. And
You're the
should be
trailblazer.
well positioned to offer it up.
Yeah. Maybe that's it's up to 1.5K views now. So maybe that's the way I should take that. Maybe I should go on the Ross discourse and ask if anyone's interested in testing it. Anyway, just looking to try and make it, available to the community.
Sometimes it's a bootstrapping problem. It's quite possible that Ross people have been interested in it and never found a driver for it, and so haven't bothered buying one.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe you'll
There
get your
still
name
was
out there.
something. Sorry, there was still something about that sort of. The last time I looked at it, it seemed like I'm taking credit for the work you've done. That we hadn't found the sort of like the user manual for it to find other modes that could be used to configure it more extensively to turn on certain features or certain feedback, because it seems like you're extracting information only from the standard NMEA sentences. Is that correct? Is that still the status?
Yes.
So if you look at the U blocks, there's like hundreds of manual pages and so many different message types. It's crazy. It's like it's the largest library that I have to compile on my robot in terms of the time it takes to compile the thing, because there's so many different configuration options.
Yeah.
And I don't expect this manufacturer to be anywhere near the same, but you'd imagine that there's something somewhere. Maybe we can't find it because it's only in Chinese, but there's got to be something out there. U-blocks can't be I mean, they got fairly good documentation, but even there, it's hard to find information sometimes. Yeah, again, I haven't gone down this rabbit hole yet, but there's got to be something we can find. Because I think that's the primary thing about, it's like getting exactly the right bits of data out of it can make it perform that much better, and having more control over how it's set up is probably a good thing if you eventually get more people interested in the project. But there's got to be a way. You can't build something like that without any documentation. It's just not possible.
Well, I mean, you've looked at the specs, the same specs I have, and
yeah, I haven't done a real deep search for it. I'm sure you've done a lot more than I have. So again, it might be a language thing, but
I'm not sure what I'm looking for that would be, in my mind, the biggest weakness of that receiver is you can't tell when it's actually got an RTK fix or not.
Yeah, that's the big one. That is huge, right?
It is huge.
That is huge.
It's like
you gotta have level of horizontal accuracy or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can get that out of you can infer what the fix must be if you've got a good, reliable horizontal accuracy, for example, or other kinds of data that can verify and give you an idea of what.
And that HACC field from the U-blocks is just great for that.
It is great. Yes,
it really seems to give you a feel for whether you're
it lies.
Or still wondering.
It does lie, but
can lie. Yeah.
It lies less than other fields, I would say.
It lies a lot less than the LC29H.
Yeah.
So, and I put those notes in the document that sort of like is overall testing results and performance analysis, and so people can take it for what it's worth. If they think it might be good for them, then they can knock themselves out.
It's at least a way to get started. Sometimes people just need some kind of a foothold to get up the first part of that cliff before they'll get into it.
Well, hopefully Paul will figure it out before I get it for next year's competition.
You might want to think about that before you do it, Mike. It's not a great center. It's okay. It's a heck of a lot better than no RTK.
Right.
It's a heck of a lot worse than the ZF9P.
Yeah, it's to go with U-blocks if you want something that you're going to make rapid progress on.
Yep.
It's fairly well. It's a very well understood sensor, and there's a lot of performance data available out there for it.
Yep.
Have you contacted the manufacturer yet of the module to say, hey, I've done this, take a look at it. Can you help me with support?
I don't want to waste my time trying to email China.
No? Okay.
But I trust that Paul's going to make it work perfectly for me. So, yeah.
Don't trust me, Mike.
I guess I was thinking a little English support may go a long way.
You didn't just do that. That's not going to age well.
No? Oh, well.
Who's next?
Pat, you're on mute.
Thank you, Paul. I'm next unless Kareem has something.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where my stuff is. Okay, so I just wanted to give a small update on where I am. Last week, I mentioned I was using ZeroMQ as a backbone, essentially, for my inter-process communications. I've made a little bit of progress. I just had a hiccup. I don't know if it's going to work, but I will try sharing my screen.
Did you say ZeroMQ, not MQTT?
Yeah, ZeroMQ.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ZeroMQ.
It's zero delay. Yeah.
Zero delay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I will try to launch my application. See if it's going to go. So I've got a GPS library running. I've got a subscriber thread running, and it doesn't look like anything is going.
Maybe it went so fast that you couldn't see it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I did manage to get Control-C to kill all my windows, though, which was a plus. So I started off from a bash script, and I kill all the processes from inside the bash script when I exit. So it's a lot cleaner, but we need to change a file. And we'll just do that quickly.
Guess we should also all have an Arduino blinking a LED in the background.
Do you see an Arduino blinking in the background?
No, it's like a fallback, you know. Well, I do have an Arduino blinking an LED.
I have an LED blinking, I think, 12 times right now, telling me that my GPS is connected to 12 satellites. So it's just sort of my quick way of being able to do that without opening a program. Save. Get out of that. Get out of that.
Yeah,
okay, nice one.
I use my computer's voice for that, my robot voice.
So, launch my script. On the window on the right is just it's subscribing to the thread from the ZeroMQ. I'm publishing once a second. So I'm publishing a GPS location, latitude, longitude. And the 0 is supposed to be a compass heading, which does not work very well. It's the same chip that Mike had described on his compass. And then 12, so I'm connected to 12 satellites, and the 1 is just a status that I'm getting data back from the GPS. So you can see it's still publishing data there, and it's working well. Though I do have a couple bugs in it, and it craps out once in a while, and I have to troubleshoot that. But just to give you a little update on what was happening. Once again, so the process opened up 3 terminal windows. If I hit Control-C on the main window where I was, it closes everything off, and everybody's happy. So just making some progress on my backplane communications. I'm working my way through everything from my motor control and everything, trying to get it all together, and hopefully in about a month in September to get the robot out. I got too many plans between now and then, so carry on with the changing everything over into code and getting it working, trying to find a traffic cone in the backyard here shortly. So that's where I was. The other thing I had to bring up was a website, Datasets.bot, and it is 40-some thousand hours of robot data, and it's all sorts of collections, images, videos, all sorts of things for training robots. It's publicly available, so free, no charge. I believe you can get in and watch, download, do all sorts of stuff with it.
Does it have traffic cones?
I don't know.
Oh,
I've never even searched it. I just came across this and I thought it may be of interest for somebody. So traffic, showing traffic.
try traffic cone, or yeah.
Not really that I'm seeing easily, but I haven't, like I say, I haven't dug into it. I haven't looked very much to see what's
Yeah.
there.
Interesting.
So it's a, I'll just post the link into the chat. And basically, if you guys are interested, I just thought it might be some of interest for people that are doing the AI, machine learning stuff. So posted the link, and that's all I had.
Super.
So I said it was going to be short. That's what I did.
I'm using the like I said, the Cone Slayer, but it's like the lowest level model. But it gives me about 20 updates per second. Like
I used the combination of Doug's pictures, and there was another guy that Doug had used. I forget. He did a demonstration for us.
Mm-hmm.
A presentation.
I used some of his pictures, and I did some training. But some of the pictures were close up of traffic cones, like a section of the side of the traffic cone at an angle. And when I did the training, it seemed to work well that I can get right up to a traffic cone and say, yeah, it's a traffic cone.
Mm-hmm.
So like where you're just seeing a partial edge of one.
Like the top of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like the little peak or just the sloped side. And it seemed to me when I was doing testing that it would detect it as a traffic cone.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Cook is who you were trying to think of.
That's who it was, Bob Cook.
Yeah.
It was Tom, I think, that had brought him into the. I don't know if it was Tom that brought him in.
Yeah, I used Bob Cook's data set.
So I did that on a little Maxcam.
Yeah.
I had trained it to use that data set.
Yeah.
And it was working. It was working well.
Well,
Yeah. So a while since I had it. I think the firmware is still on it, the program. But I think I was getting about 15 frames a second with it.
Yeah. The Maxcam 2 is a little too pricey right now. I don't know if it's going to go down or not, but it's a nice camera too. The kind of the follow on to the just the plain Maxcam. But you can plug in. They have a I think I'm going to say it's the A0100. They have a module that looks identical to that you can actually plug into the front of the Maxcam 2, so you can have simultaneous depth and vision, color vision. What else do they have? They've got infrared sensors that, again, you can look at the visible spectrum and infrared spectrum and overlay the images. And but if you get the one with the best camera, the most amount of memory, it's like $300. So it's definitely gone up from the Max, just the Maxcam itself, which God, I can't remember what I paid for the first one. Maybe $50 or something, somewhere in that range. But I think even those.
Yeah. I seem to remember it was under $100 Canadian. And I ordered it from AliExpress, and for I think it was about $80 Canadian. and it's working well for what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep. Yeah, they make some pretty good parts, pretty good devices.
although they are getting pricier now as well. I had looked up a couple other things from them, and it's everything seems to be all over the park. Incidentally, I just looked up a BNO 85 to see what I could find it for in Canada, and I did manage to find it at DigiKey. So digikey.ca for $37 and change.
Yeah.
Which is
It's around 20 in the US, just a hair over 20.
Amazon is listing it for about $60 plus
Yikes.
some of them plus shipping.
That's like a name brand.
$20.
Yeah.
Like Adafruit, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's no name ones on Amazon for 20. So
Are they reliable? Because some of them
I have no idea.
that they're saying they're a BNO 85, but when you look at them, there is only a single chip on them. Whereas if you look at the BNO 85 from Adafruit, it has several different chips on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So some of them I think are just plain IMUs that they're passing off as a BNO.
Mine's only got one chip on it.
Does it?
Yeah.
And it works with your BNO library. So yeah.
It's got a handful of resistors, but only one chip. I mean, I can't say what I ordered it off of Amazon. I don't know whether, you would hope that's a reputable.
Yeah,
Did you-
well, that's where I did.
Are you using it with your library?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
exactly the one I got. So
Oh,
is
it
it
must be.
$31
Which one?
Canadian?
Yeah, 31.
Okay, so I think it's 20 US.
So $31 free delivery. This guy.
Yep.
And it's got a single chip.
Yep,
And
just like that.
pretty nondescript.
Yeah.
If I go back, and this one here looks to be the Adafruit one.
Yeah.
And so there's I don't know if you can see it a little better. There's a couple chips on it. So I didn't know what the difference was. And
Huh.
Yeah. I studied the markings on that chip, and it seemed to be the same. On
this one here in the middle
Yeah.
seems to be the one that's on the other chip.
Right. That's the actual B&O.
So because what I was going to ask with Kareem, for tracking, like going straight, bumps, whatever, trying to correct with an IMU, does a BNO 85 or BNO 55 work well for that, or does it drift too much?
BNO 55 works great. I use that as my closest, my smallest time resolution heading is again, it's Fusion, but it's based mostly on the IMU.
Okay.
But the difference, the important difference between the 55 and the 85 is the 55 continues to auto calibrate, so the heading can jump.
Okay.
I don't see that. I have seen situations where it does that if there's a hard impact.
I saw it when I tried to use it on Mobot, and
Were you doing that in IMU mode or in 9 DOF mode?
I think it was in 9 DOF mode when I was using it
Yeah,
on
that's with the
Mobot.
mags. Mags are evil. We've established that.
But the code for the 6 DOF BNO 85 actually sends an end calibration command. So apparently without if you don't do that, the 85 continues to try and calibrate itself I understood even in 6DOF mode, but I won't swear to that.
And that,
Well, they
that's
are
what I'm
different
looking for
firmware.
is-
What?
What did you say,
There's
Pat?
different firmwares. There's different firmwares. For the
85
B&O?
and the 55 are very different
Okay.
firmware.
Yeah.
Different companies.
So what I'm avoiding is trying to have to do a calibration. You know, pick up the robot and move the robot to calibrate the sensor.
Yeah, I never do that.
Okay.
But then I'm not using mags, so it's the compasses that are the most sensitive to that.
So Paul, are you doing a calibration as well, or do you just?
No, he said he's dropped down to 6DOF, right? So
Yeah,
probably
but I
not.
still do a calibration. Just leave it for
Of
4
the IMU
seconds.
itself.
No, not every time. Just one time when I set it up, just have it sit it self still for 4 seconds, and it both lets the gyro and the accelerometer stabilize, and also gives it a stable basis for the Tara computation.
Yeah, that's something I don't know about. That's not available on the 55, as far as I know.
Okay, I'm just wondering because I do have a 55, but then I was, from what I was reading, that they tend to drift off in heading as you're traveling.
The compass.
They will drift over time. It's a matter of the total amount of vibration and whether you have other correcting sources. So I've also got the actual wheel odometry, and I have the RTK as my most accurate long-term distance, heading calculation.
Okay. And the other one I'd like to grab off my GPS if I'm moving is a heading, but I don't know if
Well, that is you get the heading from distance over ground, from travel over ground.
Yeah.
And the IMU gives you that, or sorry, the GPS gives you that, but it's not going to be accurate enough unless you're actually using RTK.
Okay, and that's what I was wondering. So it'll be too much variance because of the error. There
are people who use regular GPS with IMU and other calibration, other fusion sensors, but it's nowhere near the same level of accuracy, and I have not tried to do it myself. I've always relied on the higher accuracy. That's not true. So sometimes RTK is unavailable, like when your correction source goes down. And so I have experienced a lot of situations where it started out high accuracy and then it degraded when I lost RTK to go or something like that. And then sometimes it recovers. And if you go long enough distances and if you go fast enough, then regular GPS is good enough for heading. It's really about how fast you're moving, because your accuracy doesn't really change that much, but the amount of ground you cover, if you're if you're going down the highway, it's regular GPS is going to be good enough for heading just fine. Yeah. But on a really slow moving robot, I would rely on RTK.
At 1 meters per second, I don't think over a second you're going to get much of a.
You're not going to cover enough ground to get accurate heading.
Maybe 10 or 20 seconds, you might be able to get something out of it, but it still won't be that accurate.
Yeah,
it'll be like a cardinal direction, north or northeast or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thanks, guys.
So back to the point about the having the single chip versus the multi-chip version. I was just looking at the pictures on Amazon of those two boards. One's got 2 chips, and the other's got just the one. And the other chip on the board with 2 chips is an HJ4050, and that's apparently a 74HC4050 hex non-inverting buffer. So maybe
One of the
there's
simplest
something
parts you
about
could have on a board.
maybe there's some different interface options on that version that
Oh, huh. I wonder if it's used for level shifting. 3.3 to 5 and
I'm looking on the Adafruit site and it says it has a level shifter circuit.
yeah.
so maybe that's
One
a
of them
different-
will be 3.3 volts, and maybe the other one is 5-volt tolerant.
Right. Like
Okay.
the I2C ports would be 5 volts, so you can hook it up to an Arduino.
Yeah, because the purple version has just a VCC and ground.
Right. So it's 3.3 volt only.
Yeah, kind of my
Yeah.
thought about that is I'll buy the Adafruit version and not have to worry about it. So
Yeah, they both boards have the 701 A6 J something or other on it, which must be the B&O 85 B&O. What it must be the Bosch IMU chip.
It's actually Siva. Siva packages it with its own firmware. And there's a die inside of it from Bosch
Yeah, that's what I meant.
with a processor inside that package.
Right, because it's got sensors and an ARM processor and all kinds of good stuff.
yeah.
I think when you have a 3.3 volt device like the BNOs, and to protect them on the I2C bus with being hooked up to 5 volts, what they do is they have either level shifters and then they have to also have the 2 resistors to work with I2C. I can't think of what they are right now. Pull-up resistors have to be available too. So, yeah, that's one of the things that Adafruit does really well. So,
It also, Adafruit also has a voltage regulator.
yeah, so that if you hook it up to 5 volts, it takes, I think you can,
Right.
and it has a regulator that takes 3.3 to the shift. Yeah, I hate to say it, but, well, I don't hate to say it, but if you really, using some of the cheap off stuff, you end up having to do the protection stuff yourself, or being very clever to make sure you don't do, like hook 5 volts and fry everything. So yeah, for those BNOs, I'd always go with Adafruit. Now I'm sure that SparkFun's is just as good, but I always get Adafruit.
So on a different subject, Mike and Mark, I saw a cryptic comment on Discord saying you had fun tinkering with Roby. What'd you guys get up to?
Should have been there.
No,
Find out.
Oh, secret.
Yep. Gotta lure
You will
in
never
somehow.
know.
Not part of the club. Yeah.
Gotta be there. No. No, we were just messing around a little bit. I was playing around with his chest plate. Had some ideas, and Mike and I were brainstorming. So it was good. It was a good night.
Yeah, I got that connector for all the arm wires. Yeah,
Cool.
I want to be there on Wednesday, but I put it on top of Roby's shoulder. So
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be there tomorrow night. So
yeah.
So now he has pecs and a 6-pack or something, you're saying?
Oh no. No, we're just trying to find an easy way to take his arm off, because right now he has like 15 or 16 wires to connect.
6
Yeah.
connectors or something. Yeah.
Quite a few. So one good connector to rule them all there.
So did you get his leg fixed, Mark, to where he stands up straight now?
Hadn't yet. You're the leg man. I was leaving that for you.
He's still a gimp, huh? Got a list.
Yeah, we kicked it,
just-
trying to get it into place, but
Yeah. Swift kick in the shins, but it didn't do anything. Yeah. But yeah, if anyone wants to come out tomorrow night, I'll be out there. You're more than welcome.
Mark, I had a question on Discord. You mentioned a power supply.
Oh yeah. So a couple meets ago that Paul and Mike were there. Mike just off the cuff mentioned that, it'd be nice to have a power supply, a bench power supply. I was like, it would be nice. So yeah, I talked to our electronics committee, and Art, who runs that committee, was like, yeah, leave it to me. So and he came out with this big power supply. So we now have a dedicated 30 volt, 5 amp dual channel, blah 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 blah.
Looked like it was a three supply unit.
Yeah, the one on the right was fixed at like I think 5 volts and something, but
Right, variable around 5 volts a little bit.
I haven't really played with it.
Plus
And then we also
two
got the
that you
little,
can series or parallel.
yeah, that's
So
it.
that's a really those are nice. A triple supply. That's what I got on my bench behind me, but mine's ancient and yours is like nice and new, and I'm like very envious.
Yeah, well, come out.
but it's big. Yeah,
It is.
it is
And then-
big.
And I also borrowed a Rigol oscilloscope as well. It was a 4-channel, but now it's 3-channel because channel 1 doesn't work. So yeah, we borrowed that too.
It was a victim of the breaker space.
Yeah, exactly. The breaker space. Yep.
I'm still looking to convert an old power supply from a computer to a bench supply.
Yeah, those are good.
Just because they handle a fair amount of power, and at 5 volts is quite a bit of it, 20 amps or something. But at 12 volts, typically they'll handle like 10 amps or something or more.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Tom, you're muted.
Yeah. Having a chat with himself.
I've had
over
one
there.
on my bench for many years, and it's the most useful thing I've ever had, partly because you can't break it. The one thing to be aware of that's kind of handy, especially the older one that I have, which is out of an old AT, it needs some load on it. You got to put some load on the 5 volt supply. The handiest thing that I found to do that is if you have any old 12 volt incandescent car bulbs in your junk collection, stick one of those on the 5 volt power supply.
Yeah.
It acts as an effective load and a power on light, and just stick it inside somewhere. So you
And
always
the
know
room
when you left it on because the room is still lit up. No, I added a bunch of banana plugs to the front, and I've used it for forever, and it replaced an old 5 volt 3-pin IC regulated supply, which I always had problems with. So
Yeah.
it's great. I wouldn't be without it. And I have spare power supplies of the old vintage, just in case I do have a problem with this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 3D printer I got a long time ago. It's a Rostock V2, and it came with a AT or ATX supply or something like that. And but I wanted to, but it had a hard time heating up the bed and the extruder to higher temperatures, and so I changed it out for a nice 12 volt supply. Yeah. A 20 amp supply, and now the extruder and the bed can heat up at the same time with no problem.
Yeah, my 3D printer is programmed to heat the bed up first before it starts heating up the hot end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got an old Lambda LA200 It still has analog meters on it for voltage and current.
So useful.
Wow.
So I
That's,
think
that's
like-
old school.
So it works.
16.5 volts, 4 amps. So
So I've been testing the new cameras that I bought to replace the ones that the lightning strike burned out. They don't look a heck of a lot different from the old ones, but they have both infrared and white LEDs on the front. These are actually 5 megapixel rather than 4, but I've configured them for 4. They're kind of fun because no manual comes with them. They're a real no-name kind of implementation. I've been able to track down the internal camera module supplier, but I've only been able to find a marketing sheet. So I don't have a lot of data. It programs a lot like the old ones. So they basically run Linux internally. What's interesting is they have a much more powerful AI tool component. So they seem to be very, very good at detecting both people and vehicles. And you can implement virtual boundary lines within the camera itself, which I've played with a bit. Right now, I had to reconfigure them so they run similar to the old cameras so that I don't have to modify my ZoneMinder software very much. And now I'm just running them in the house here to make sure they're okay before I put them outside. I haven't got the surge suppressors yet for the power over Ethernet cables. And I'm a little gun shy about putting cameras outside again until I install those. But so far, I'm pretty happy with the first 2 I bought, so I've ordered 2 more. They look like they'll work really well. At $25 Canadian a pop. Really powerful AI mechanisms built into them.
Does the AI to use it, does it have to be connected to the internet?
I think the short answer to your question, Pat, is no. They do not need any third-party processing. In fact, I configure these things for static IP addresses both in the camera and in my router, and then I add the address and the MAC number to my router in the deny list. I want to make sure that they don't leave my local area network. They will probably if I let them, but I simply ensure they don't. So I think the answer is no. They're standalone in terms of the AI output, which can be used to provide various kinds of alarming outputs that the camera also provides.
mhm. Does those have like 2-way audio and you can set off a siren or flashing lights or?
Yeah, these particular ones do. I have not implemented or experimented with any of that yet.
Yeah.
But from looking at the web pages that run internally on the camera that allow you to configure it, all of those capabilities appear to be there. I just haven't tried to do anything with them because my previous cameras didn't have that.
Does it have a squirrel detector?
I don't know about
I haven't put them outside yet. I'm still waiting to play with animal detection. No squirrels indoors. The other thing I was playing with, Paul got me intrigued with what I had kicking around in my tablet and smartphone junk box. So I was digging out the stuff that I could turn into handheld Bluetooth or Wi-Fi controllers. And along the way, I realized I had a couple of things. Be careful how I pick these up. A couple of things that have been sitting there for a while. There's one of them. That's a Sony e-reader. These have white paper type screens on them.
e-paper, yeah.
Yeah, e-paper. Now this one, you'll see the broken corner. This one was bitten by my son-in-law's dog. And that's when it stopped working. So I haven't had any luck in getting it to do anything. I took it apart. I know the battery's dead. I've changed out the battery. I'm trying to be real cautious here not to short circuit anything. I've changed out the battery with a replacement lithium ion cell just so I could try to turn it on. I don't think I'm going to make much headway with that other than salvage some parts off it. But the other one that was fun is I also have an old Kobo reader. This is the second model they come out with, the first one with Wi-Fi. And I got it because back around 2011 or 2012, when they were doing updates over Wi-Fi, they did an update that bricked it. This was my my sister-in-law's. So when it was bricked and she got so pissed off with it, she just bought a new one and gave me the old one. So I've now started to tinker with this one to see if I can unbrick it, which involves the, you see, I've pulled the motherboard out of it and it's still tied in with the power line. This is interesting because it's got 2 SD card slots in it, one external and one internal. So all the internal memory is on that small SD card slot that's close to the bottom. There's a 2 gig SD card in there. So I've just, actually at the beginning of this meeting, I actually took this apart and pulled it out. It's formatted in 3 partitions. One of them's FAT32 and the other 2 are Linux partitions because this thing runs Linux. And so I'm looking at ways to access it. I'll probably have to put it onto a Linux box in order to get at useful tools, in order to be able to repartition it and reload the operating system on it. So we'll see if I get any luck with it. Part of what I was looking at these things for is because there's quite an active set of developers who are tinkering with old e-paper displays and are driving them from ESP32s. And I thought that would be kind of a nice display on an ESP32. We'll see. See if I get anywhere with it.
Well, I noticed that it had an image on it, so I guess that's the last thing it saw before it died.
Yeah, I can make the Kodo will boot and then it freezes. So it boots for several seconds, then it freezes, and that's the last image it shows. The Sony reader is the same way. So there's some logic working in there, but not working well enough. They get to the point where they start doing stuff and then they stop, they freeze. And that's the symptom of the corrupt update that was done back in 2011, based on the reading I've been doing today.
Yeah, so how long does the image last? How many years?
I guess a long time. It doesn't need any power, apparently.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just needs a voltage potential and that's all, so.
You might be able to change it with like static electricity, like if you rub the front of it.
Well, I don't think my ESP32 knows how to do that.
Probably not.
I also, because I was buying new cameras, I also was getting huge discounts from the Chinese online firm that I was buying stuff from. So I picked myself up a cheap yellow display for $10. You know what those are.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't resist. I don't really have a use for it, but I thought for $10, I'll get one to play with.
Well, Ray had a good idea. You could like have a little arc pen and use it for an Etch-a-Sketch. Yeah.
There you go.
Couple of servo motors and a frame, and we're all set.
Yeah.
This is like the automated Etch-a-Sketches, right?
I'm not sure how you erase it, but you can always draw on it. Yeah.
Another motor picks it up and shakes it or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about the e-paper display. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Let's use some whiteout.
I was also surprised, given that both of these devices are probably 15 years old at least, they both still have good working lithium ion cells in them.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can see this one's got you see the little blue light there? I don't know if you can see it or not up at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
That's power light. It's been sitting here on for a couple of hours. And that's the original lithium ion cell, which you can see sitting down here. It's still fine. I pulled the cell out of the Sony. Let me get it for you. I pulled the one out of the Sony because it was attached to a battery management system of some kind. So I just unsoldered it so I could test it. It's not quite as good, but it's still got 3.2 volts on it, and it's been sitting idle for, I don't know, 14 or 15 years. It's a hard one to replace, though. This may not show well in the camera. It's only 2 millimeters thick, and it's 700 milliamp hours. That's the thinnest lithium-ion poly cell I've ever seen.
Huh.
So it's really thin. All the rest that I have are typically 5 or 6 millimeters thick. We'll see. We'll see if I can make any headway. I know I'm being distracted. I've gone down a rabbit hole, but what the heck?
It could be a display for your robot. So yeah.
Very, very slow data updates, though. You know.
Yes, that's right. They're a little slow and a little hard to read sometimes under some circumstances, but at least they're big and they're very low power. So the other thing I was looking at, you guys are familiar with the LilyGo ESP32 displays, which
Yeah.
have displays fastened on one side of the printed circuit board.
Hmm.
Well, when I was browsing for ESP32s and for the TPL display, I ran across some ESP32s where somebody has packaged them with a 0.4-inch OLED display, kind of like a ripoff of the LilyGo devices.
Oh yeah, they're teeny tiny little displays.
64 by 32 pixels, I think. I looked at
Oh,
that and I looked at it and said, no, I don't think so. I have enough trouble reading a big display.
Mm,
They were about $6. They were really cheap.
mhm. I think there's even one with a character display, like a 3-digit character display. So,
Well, I like the idea of the display on the embedded micro, because these days, every time I install an embedded micro, I usually stick a little OLED display along with it, or
Yeah.
even a little LED display, because I still have a bunch of those OLED displays. So yeah, so I kind of thought that would be cool if I'm going to get some more ESP32s. But they're
Yeah.
also on C3, model C3 ESP32s, and that's really the low end of the scale of ESP32s. So I wasn't that interested.
yeah, there was one. It's a TTGo that had LoRa and an OLED display, like I want to say 128 by 64. But some of the pins on the OLED overlapped with the second serial port, so you can't really use it. And the LoRa is on a SPI interface, and it has, I don't know, like 6 connections on it. So a lot of the pins get used up that, for either LoRa or the display that you can't use. So
This, I don't know how many of you know what the cheap yellow displays are. That's the back side of one of them, and that's the front side. They're really nice displays. They're 2.8-inch color touchscreens. And this was for $10. This was a heck of a deal. I happen to have a speaker wired up to it, because it also comes with an analog amplifier, a digital or an audio amplifier on the board, and an SD card. And it's got an original ESP32 room CPU, which was actually quite nice performance. It's a dual CPU, 240 megahertz. So it's not quite an S3, but it's still pretty good.
yeah, they came with either resistive touch or capacitive touch.
Yeah, these are resistive.
Yeah.
They look good. I've seen other people, there's several people in the Vancouver group are using them quite actively. And their demonstrations indicate that they're really quite effective. There isn't a whole lot to be concerned about with them. They've been pricey, but when I saw one for $10, I said, what the hell, I'm getting one.
Yeah, they're nice displays.
So those are my distractions for the week.
Yeah, I was thinking of a display I could put into one of my windows on my Jeep. Give it but I put a speaker on it, so it speaks to me. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that at first I wondered what was playing in the background when you were doing your demo, and then I realized it was your robot.
Right.
That's a nice idea.
Well, thanks, Tom. Anyone else have a robot-related topic today? I guess that's just about it. Okay. Well,
All right.
Sounds good.
next Tuesday.
Sounds great.
That's the plan.
All right. Bye.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.